Kia ora. This video is going to look at the contrast in rainfall that can be found in Tongariro National Park. Some parts of it are really wet, whereas other parts are really dry. Keywords to look out for are orographic rainfall, rain shadow and prevailing winds. If we look at two places within the Tongariro environment, in the west we have Whakapapa village, and in the east the army town of Waiouru. Looking at climate data for these two places, you can see that the rainfall for Whakapapa, where the chateau is found, is much higher than that of Waiouru. The climate graphs have bars to show rainfall. Whakapapa has an annual average rainfall of 2,800 millimeters, whereas Waiouru only has 1,100 millimeters. This is around a third. So why is this? It happens because of orographic rainfall. Orographic rainfall is a process, and it happens when the prevailing winds, and the prevailing winds are the direction the wind usually comes from, come across ocean, picking up water all the time. When the winds reach the land, they're forced up and over because winds can't travel through the rock. So the winds are forced upwards and over. So this moist air rises. And as you go further up in altitude, it gets cooler and cooler. And eventually that water vapor condenses into cloud. As the clouds get bigger and bigger, with more condensation occurring, eventually they burst, causing precipitation in the forms of rain, snow, hail and sleet. But the winds are constantly moving, and as they get over the top of the highland, they've lost a lot of their moisture. So by the time they get over to the other side of the highlands, the winds are much drier. This creates a rain shadow. A rain shadow is an area where there is less rainfall, and a rain shadow is very much linked to orographic rainfall. So let's see how this applies to New Zealand. What occurs is the prevailing winds come across get my arrows right, across from the Tasman Sea from the west. They travel a long distance, many thousands of kilometres, and in all that time they're picking up moisture continuously. Of course, when they get to Tongariro, the winds are forced up and over the highland. Don't forget, these are very high mountains. Mount Ruapehu is almost 3,000 meters high, and even Tongariro and Ngārahoe are around 2,000 meters high. So the winds come across, they are forced up and over the mountains, and that means that the orographic rainfall occurs on the west side. Chateau Tongariro, of course, was where the climate graph that we looked at before was from, leading to almost 3,000 millimeters of rainfall here. And once the winds have got over to the other side, to the east of Tongariro, they've lost most of their moisture. And by the time they get to Waiouru, down here, and of course the Rangipo Desert, they're much drier, and therefore they drop much less moisture. Don't forget, around 1,100 millimeters of rainfall. And that's why Tongariro is so wet, yet so dry.